You're listening to Guitar Talk with Will Musig.
Hello and welcome to... Hi everyone, welcome to Guitar Talk. I said I was going to try a Barry White voice tonight at the start, and Pino just cracked up. Hi everyone, welcome to Guitar Talk once again. And tonight is, you could say tonight is a repairer's forum, because we've got three techs in the room. There's myself, there's Paul Gale. Big round of applause for Paul.
About time. We got him.
Yeah, I know. Do you know how mysterious this man is? And Joe Occhipinti.
Hello again.
Hello, Joe.
Hello.
So, and we had Joe on not long ago.
Hello, baby.
We had Joe on not long ago.
With Joe.
Wow, that's right. With Joey Amenta.
Yeah, that's right. Two Joes.
J and J. Yeah.
J and J. That's right.
Can we ever do a guitar show that we don't mention Joey Amenta? Or
Yeah, Joe, if you're watching, we're not going to mention you tonight.
We're not going to mention him from now on.
it's a bit too late now, isn't it?
So, Paul, welcome on the show. You're the highlight of tonight. Joe's just the side profile.
Yeah.
Now, tonight we're going to show you how to build a crystal set. So one diode and a little coil.
Oh, crack up. So
That's where it started for me.
is it?
Yeah. The worst thing was, this is what I didn't know. When I was a kid, I wanted a radio, so I used to read these electronics magazines. So I used to get my little diode, and I would wind these coils, and they would never work. And it was only a couple of years later that I got hold of a coil out of a transistor radio, and my crystal set worked. What I didn't realize was I was copying all the winding things for the Europeans, because it was a European. That's the wrong frequency.
That's why it didn't work.
Yeah. And then before I got a soldering iron, I made a little 2-transistor amplifier for it. My microphone just cut out. That's good, probably. And I twisted all the wires together, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
And then I got a soldering iron, and when I soldered everything together, nothing worked. So I abandoned soldering ever since.
That
I just
reminds
twist all the
me.
wires together.
That reminds me of my first electric guitar that I got. My mum brought it home, and that night I looked at it and I went, "Oh wow!" And I took the strings off it, and I pulled the scratch plate off it, and don't ask me why, but I cut all the wires on it. And then
As you do.
and then I sat there and I went,
Doesn't work.
"I've got to put it back together now."
Yeah.
That's
and
how
I
I
didn't know how to
started.
put it back together. And we had to take it back to the shop, and it was that standard thing. What happened to the guitar?
I don't know.
We tried to fix it.
Yeah.
And
Denial.
they made it worse.
Start off with denial first.
Yeah, denial.
Well,
I
I
don't
know.
know.
You got it like this.
Got it like this.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me a Burns Bison pickup, and I thought this would be pretty good. This is an English pickup. So I cut this hole in this Eggman Strat that I had, and I put it in, and I was really proud of the job that I'd done. Then what I didn't know at that time was that it was, because it was a low impedance pickup, didn't actually work. It was really, really quiet. I thought, God, how am I going to fix this? So I made a little transistor amplifier to bring it up to in level. And what I found was on the other pickups, used to distort really well. So I used to flog them all to my mates so they could all sound like Led Zeppelin. So it was a fluke distortion box.
Wow. Wow. So I mean, you've already told us some of your past, right? But how old were you when you really started sort of?
I was 15 when I started playing guitar.
Yep.
And at the same time, I was obviously been interested in electronics from this crystal set level, not from anything fancy, since I was, old enough to. In fact, I'll tell you a story. When I was about 9, maybe 8 or 9, I used to live in my room was in the first floor, the house we used to live in.
Was that in here
England.
or
Yeah,
in
in
England?
England.
Yep.
And I used to be an avid reader, and my parents would walk up the stairs and look under my door to see if my light was still on. And they'd say, go to bed. And I used to want to read. So I went to the local Woolworths store, they did have a local Woolworths store, and I bought a little bayonet fitting, about 1 meter of cable, that's all I could afford, and a plug. And here I am now, and my bedroom's right above the lounge room. So I wired this up, and I was really pleased, and I'm thinking, this is good. I've got my own little light now that I can have under the covers. And what I didn't know at that time was you're not supposed to leave any of the copper wire exposed. So I've picked up this bayonet joint after this thing. I thought, oh, this is great. This is working really well. So the next thing is, of course, me gripping the bayonet. I couldn't let it go, and me hammering on the floor with the thing up and down, and my parents yelling out, "Shut up there!" And I'm thinking to myself, God, I hope they don't come up here. I wasn't worried I was getting electrocuted. I was worried I was going to get into trouble for making this light. And the only lucky thing was as I bounced around the floor, I pulled the wire out of the plug.
So that's
stopped me getting zapped.
oh,
So that's how far back my.
So you're
electronic stuff
in a way you're kind of lucky because you did that. If not, you could have fried.
Oh, yeah.
But then again,
it's taught me a healthy respect.
but they've got 120, haven't they?
It was 100 volts DC in those days.
DC.
But I think when I wanted to play electric guitar, I think I loved everything about it. I wanted to make amplifiers and do everything that the guitar players did. So I wanted to be a guitar player, and I wanted to make effect pedals and amplifiers and PA systems. And so I suppose I started doing that for my band, and by default I became Mr. Fix-It, because as we sold the stuff on to other people and it broke down, we couldn't afford to get a tech to repair it. So I learned how to repair the stuff.
Yeah.
So
because you were making your own PAs and everything, weren't you?
yeah. We made the boxes. I think that we had 2 printers in the band, funny enough, that used to work in a place in Nunawading, and they made the model and made a model village of Melbourne, and they had all the woodworking gear. So we built all our boxes there.
Now this is Soundworks days.
No, before Soundworks.
Before Soundworks.
So this was probably the mid-70s, and we went in one night, and we had a little 100-watt PA that sounded like crap, and we went to see a band called the La-Di-Dahs with Kevin Borich, and when we got there, we felt a bit cheated because there was no singer, no keyboard player. It was just Kevin Borich, a guy called Rockwell T. James, and I think maybe Kevin Barber or somebody like that on drums. And what they did have, though, he was playing a big double stack, and it was just 3 of them. And there was 5 of us in the band at the time, and the rhythm guitarist wasn't allowed to come to practices often because his girlfriend had given him a hard time, and the singer was still writing words down 6 months later. So we said, hey, on that night, we realized how a 3-piece band could sound. So for about 4.5 years, we wanted to be a power trio. And the first thing I said to the guys is, as we make some money in the band, I want to build a big PA like Kevin Borich had. And that's what we did. We built our own electronic crossovers. We built our own big A7 boxes with JBLs in them, and we built graphic equalizers. And I've still got pictures of me building the desk, and I've still got the desk. It was a 12 into 4 into 2 or something. And
not the one on top of the.
No, you've never seen it.
Oh,
no.
okay.
But I'll bring it and show you. It's just, our
Is it a big desk?
one of
Like-
about about a meter, maybe a little less than a meter, maybe 3 foot. But one of our roadies used to be a fitter and turner, and I said we wanted a good solid top panel, and he had this barbecue plate that was 1/4 of an inch thick, and he was glued it all out and drew all the things. And I said, you're going to really hate this because there's going to be sliders in it. So he was sitting there with a little boarding file cutting out the slots for the sliders, and there was a lot of them, 12, 4, and 2. So it was 18 pots in it. So no, we built the whole PA, and I suppose from that point in time, I became because we were looking at what they were doing in the States with their boxes designs and things. So I became Mr. Fix-It by default, probably, because as we sold the stuff on, people would bring it back to me when it'd blow up. And then a couple of buddies of mine worked in Helmut's Music Place, which was the pro shop. The guys had a Pseudo Echo and Real Life and all those used to come in there. And I used to call in to see Helmut, and I'd take things home to repair for him. And then when the synthesizer came out, nobody else wanted to touch it. I can circuit, I'll fix it. It was more arse than class, probably. But anyway, I managed to fix the first one, and then Helmut was really good. He arranged with Yamaha and Roland and all those guys to supply me with circuits, which for a one-man operation in those days was really hard to get to be a repairer. And so they had a lot of faith in me, a lot more than they probably should have.
So in a way, you're one of the pioneers who's actually set up a lot of the infrastructure for us repairers.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's in a way, it's like being like a Jeremy Allsop, Rob Little, and
well, we realized very early in the piece that people were needed to fix stuff, and because I was fixing stuff for Helmut, and because I knew all those guys, they were all buddies of mine. In the end, I moved into Ringwood and set up a place so that it used to be Paul Gale Custom Guitars or something, but they used to bring me amps and all sorts of things. So we set up in Ringwood to be close to Helmut. He would send us work and we would send him customers. And
Yeah, but in fact, Soundworks was the place to be, if you remember. Everyone
Yeah.
was there. It was as big as the city.
We had all the musos come in because I
Everyone.
think by default, I don't think there was a lot of people willing to tackle this stuff. Phil Buckle, he worked at Helmets and he's a good buddy of mine. And he would change a guitar every 2 weeks. He'd come in. He brought in an aluminium guitar one day for me and said, here, I want these pickups put in that. And I go, ooh, I've got a red aluminium. How's that going to work?
Yeah, but you did it.
I did it, yeah, and it was okay. But yeah, we had no choice. They used to bring us this stuff to fix, and we had no choice. We just had to fix it. And sometimes you thought, oh, don't know what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
But I got really tied up in synthesizers for about 10 years, and I was a digital tech there, so I did all the keyboard repairs and things. But guitars are stuff I love doing. So wind pickups, and I don't know, you just do it because there's no one to turn to. So.
But there wasn't many at the time, was there?
No.
Yeah.
I think Merv Cargill was the man in Melbourne.
Yeah, you had Merv, and
He was the main man, and he was down in Seaford. So
I remember being quite young and going down to see Merv.
you're still there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
James. Yeah.
I was just fascinated with the whole process. I suppose it's really good.
Yeah.
Mr. Joey Menta says, I'm watching, boys.
Hey, we said we weren't going to say the name.
He did about it.
You said it tonight,
Too
Pino.
late, too late. Marcel George Imuni says, Hola, Botras Gales.
Ah, yes. Buttress. Buttress Gale.
Oh, there you go. Claude finally got his glasses on. He says, hey, girls.
Hello, Marcel. Hello, Joe.
And apologies to our listeners, I must say. We're having difficulties with Will send a comment on our other screen. So
Yeah.
I'll probably be jumping in. Guys.
Pino's sabotaging the show again. and he's made it so that I can't see the comments on the screen over there. So that's go Pino.
Well, you almost got me fired last week, mate. We won't go to that one.
I haven't learned to read yet anyway.
Hey,
So.
Will.
Yes.
What country are you from?
I come from the land down under.
Whoa. Headphones just came in then.
Look, see, we got technical. Does anybody know a tech?
Yeah.
Now, last week we had a bit of a funny scenario. For those guys that were listening,
It was funny for Will.
Not for Pino.
I wasn't even sure
That's
what
gone
I
again.
said.
No, but when you said it, it cut out, didn't it? Your mic cut out.
It did.
It wasn't your fault.
Yeah, it was just technical
Of
hitch.
course it was.
Yeah, technical hitch. Just like the headphones.
I want to
came in.
know why
Yeah.
you've got that really good mic and I've got this piece of crap here.
Well,
Hey, it's
know,
an
that's obviously
it's an
the-
AKG there, Paul.
Yeah, but he's obviously got the good mic, hasn't he? Got in first.
Yeah, but what Pino said, he needs it for his voice.
Yeah. Mr. Barry White.
yeah.
Very right.
Is that because you've got a
Everybody.
soprano voice and
Hello, everybody.
they actually slow it down to
It
make
slows
you
down.
sound-
It catches the voice in the.
Actually,
yeah.
believe it or not, Will's the only guy that I know who talks and I have to use an auto tune.
Yeah.
You're a crack up, Pino.
Well, speaking about Marcel, he used to come in the shop all the time. Simon Heisford, all of them.
I've known Marcel for bloody years.
Years, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had Marcel and Joe on the show
Yeah, of course.
one night.
Sorry,
Yeah, in the early in the.
Oh,
We
Marcel's
should
great.
talk
He
about
just-
getting them
He
boys
came
back
out.
on.
Actually,
Yeah, get the boys
Marcel
back.
got my Rory Gallagher. He came in one day with this Strat sort of put together thing that he said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "Mate, it's a bit of a ringing. There's different body, different everything else. I'm not sure how much of it was real, but it wasn't a lot. Seymour Duncan pickups." Said, "Look, go and sit in that room with this Rory Gallagher. Play it for 10 minutes. He'll vouch for this. Play it for 10 minutes without plugging it in, and then go and plug it in." And afterwards, he goes, "I'm going to buy this guitar."
You still got it.
So he turns up. He turns up about 2 or 3 weeks later, and we were running a British rock night, and we had to call it British in the end because he was going to do some Rory Gallagher stuff. And he goes, "I've come here. My mum's given me some money, and I'm going to buy that Rory Gallagher." And I go, "No, you're bloody not. It's my guitar." I said. And he goes, "No, I'm going to buy it." I said, "Look," he said, "Well, at least let me use it for tonight." I said, "Look, I'll sell it to you on one condition." I said, "I'm going to order another one." And I said, "If it doesn't sound as good, though, you're going to get that one and I'm getting my one back." And he said, "Yeah, fair enough." So anyway, the other one came in. It was just as good. So there was no issue. And he played it that night. It sounded fabulous. And of course it would with Marcel's fingers around it.
Anything that Marcel picks up and
Yeah,
plays, I mean, he could play on something that's broken
Magic-
in half. And
magic
it'll
fingers,
Sound,
yeah.
Two strings.
And Dave,
Yeah.
and not a lot of people know this, but Dave, Marcel's brother, or one of his brothers, He used to be our service manager. G'day, Dave, if you're out there somewhere.
Wow.
He's a great guy.
Did I meet Dave?
I don't know whether you have, but he's got a technical brain. He knows everything about everything. He's just really clever guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Joey's good. Yeah, they're all a great family. I've known the Yamunis for a long time. And
I remember going to Main Street Music
yeah,
Okay,
back
yeah.
in the day. You know,
Long time.
that was a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah. They were awesome days.
And I used to see, was it the Cousins? Celeste and that?
Celeste.
Yeah. They used to come in the Lambertis.
Yeah.
And I used to help them put all the stuff in the car.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Lambertis, there's the end of an era.
There you go, Lambertis.
Actually,
Yeah.
Finished.
actually, Marcel's written one of my favourite instrumentals. And
Which one? Monkey Fingers?
no, there's a thing called Heartache.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit of a tribute to Jeff Beck and maybe Mark Knopfler and whatever, but it's just a beautiful tune.
Yeah.
You can play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just whatever, drums, bass. You know.
I think you're calling it's called Heart Trouble.
Heart Trouble, is it?
Yeah.
I used to always call it the wrong thing, and he ended up giving me his EP with it. Yeah, he said when I said what it was, he said, no, it's
Have you got that track,
Yes, we have.
Pino? Can
Mate,
we play it?
play a bit of it, mate.
Let's play it now. We'll play the whole track.
It's one of the nicest instrumentals I've ever heard, I reckon.
It's a beautiful track, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, we'll play it now.
Cool.
Did he do everything on it?
Yeah. I think he did it.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
That's Heart Trouble
Heart Trouble, yeah.
by
Heart
Marcel.
Trouble.
Yeah,
Mate, that is absolutely world class.
yeah, yeah. Graceful.
It's a very beautiful track.
Now we saw that Ross Spinello's signed on, and he's looking at the show, and Paul's gone.
Hey, Ross.
Get him to call me.
Yeah.
So give us a call on 0412 376 848. Now we've got a few people that Paul's put the word out to. Marcel, please call in.
Call in, yeah.
Ross Spinello, please call in.
Joe, David.
Joe,
David,
I reckon just anyone. Just
anyone.
call in.
Yeah,
Anyone's
give
got
us a
question,
call.
Just call in.
Because if you call, there's a guarantee of the phone being answered.
We stopped when everybody retired at Soundworks. I stopped answering the main landline because there's 10,000 customers on the database there, and I keep threatening them, saying, "Look, about 9,000 of you have to go. Make sure you're not one of them." But I got an old friend of mine hadn't been in for a long time. He said, "There's something wrong with your phone, mate." He said, "Every time I ring," he said, "it just rings and rings and rings." And I said, "How long you been here for, mate?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know, about half an hour." I said, "You heard the phone ring?" He said, "Yeah, about half a dozen times." I said, "You seen anybody pick it up?" He goes, "No." I said, "Well, there's the problem."
That's been ringing since the 90s. And no one's picked it
I
up.
said, "There's nothing wrong with the phone. It's just the answerer is not doing a good job."
Actually, Paul, I'll make you laugh. Joey Mentor just texted me and says, "Paul Gale, a gem of a human being."
Thank you so much.
But while we're on the phone subject, and Joey Mentor again, obviously, Joey once, it was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, Will? Texts me and he goes, "Pino, can you give me your number?" He texts me on my phone. He goes, "Can you send me your phone number so I can call on the show?" And I said, "Joe, it's the one you just text me on."
So once again, the phone number 0412. That's 0412
If Brett Wood's out there
376
too,
848. Who's that?
Say hello, Brett Wood. He's another guy.
Brett Wood's a legend.
And Marcus
I haven't-
Turbin.
Geez, I haven't
Oh,
seen
Marcus. Yeah.
Marcus,
I haven't
yeah.
seen him for ages.
He's
Brett.
good, buddy. We were in.
Marcus is doing a show tonight.
Marcus is the other guy in the picture, Pino. That
Yep.
with Rick Latham.
With Rick Latham, yeah.
Yeah, he was
Well,
in it too.
did you know Marcel actually played with Rick Latham?
No.
Oh,
There
who
you
did
go.
he? Who didn't he play with?
When Rick Latham came down here in Melbourne and he was doing the drum
Clinic.
expo, or the clinic, it was actually the show, actually.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, I'm looking for a bass player. I want a bass player to play with me." And we got Marcel and Rick Latham played together on the stage.
There you go.
That's awesome.
See?
That's awesome.
Claude de Cesare just said, "I've been asking Ross Spinello to call me for years. He won't call."
Well, he's your chance.
Come on, Ross, make us look good. Give us a call.
Ross,
Here's a
call.
He's another great guitar player. He's
He's
sat in my
he's
workshop
beautiful.
many a time, and he's just faultless.
Who's
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
Ross Spinello.
Ross Spinello, yeah.
Amazing player.
He's just got
Oh!
magic fingers.
Pretend we're a little bit busy.
Hello, you're on Guitar Talk. Who am I speaking to?
Mate, you're talking to Ross.
Ross!
Hey!
He called!
How are you, brother?
How you doing?
Yeah, good, buddy. Good.
This is a bit of a surprise. I was just glancing through Facebook.
Yeah. They didn't actually tell me it was Facebook. They said they've got this new social media site, and I think they said it's called you Twitface. It's a combination of Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise to see you guys there. That's fantastic.
You must
what
be
you're
a
doing.
sad, lonely person, mate, to be on there, on sitting there watching Facebook of a night time. Haven't you got a life?
Mate, I did my 8 hours of practice. I still can't play.
Yeah, mate, you don't even practice, mate.
So,
I keep watching you every time you play, but there must be some magic you've got in your fingers that doesn't exist in mine.
nah, you know you're a great player.
In my head, mate, I'm just unbelievably good. It's just something happens from the head to
Yeah.
the finger, so I don't know what it is.
Paulie, don't underestimate what you do, mate. You're a great player. You know you are. You
No,
know,
mate,
so you just like you just like everyone else.
Well, I
pretending that
asked him
you're a
if I
great
could,
player.
if I asked him if I could come on with a bucket over my head tonight, and I could be Mr. Buckethead for a night, but a few people will probably recognise my voice. It's Mr. Buckethead tonight. Yeah. How are you, buddy?
So-
You're still making music?
I'm still doing a few little gigs here and there.
Funny,
yeah.
I was just moving the front counter today, and I found your your cards were on the counter, and I moved them to another spot, and there's
What
you with a
did
little
you
hat
do?
on,
I
looking
know what you
looking
did.
like
You
Mr.
threw them in
Cool.
the bin.
Sorry?
He reckons he put him in the bin.
You threw them in the bloody bin, didn't you?
No, mate. I give them to people and say, look, don't bring him until about 3 o'clock in the morning because he gets in very late.
Oh, right. But anyway, it's a bit of a surprise to see you guys. I'm actually visually watching you on Facebook, so that's a great buzz.
This is the first, mate. This is the first. I was just going to bring on pictures of my last meal or something. That's what people typically do on Facebook. Look, this is what I had for dinner.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm going to bed now. I've had a selfie.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Am I going to just look at you guys, or are you going to grab the guitar and play something really nice?
No, we'll do that some other time, and only when you
Come on, get
Hey,
the guitar
Ross,
and play something really nice.
Hey, I'll throw out a challenge to you. You come in here, all right, and
And
I'll come back, and we'll play something on the guitar together.
There you go.
Okay.
Ross,
But you got to give me a 3 months notice so I can
practice.
I can practice at least.
There you go, Will. There's an episode there.
There's an episode.
G7th I'm still working on. You know that fourth chord, that magic chord.
Oh yeah.
I've got the 7 bit, but the other chords aren't. The other notes are.
Uh,
I'll get there. Yeah, mate, you come on here and we'll do a guitar night, and I'll come on with you because I can hide behind you and go.
There's a challenge.
Turn me down and turn Ross up, and we'll both look good.
Paul, you're just building me up, mate. That's what you're doing.
You're a good guy.
Um,
Yeah, Mike says to say hello too. He was in this week.
Is Mike
Bell.
up there? Is he on?
No,
is he,
he's not on. Maybe we should bring him on as well.
Why not?
Yeah.
Bring Mikey down.
Yeah. Anybody that rings in, that's dangerous, mate. It's a bit like sitting in the front row, one of those comedians that spits at everybody, you know. If you've rung in, you're coming in. If we've got to come and get you, which we will.
I've just hired Paul as my booking agent.
That's right.
Yeah, mate, you're the man.
Well, the only thing I can say, Paul, is every time I come around there and to come and see you like I always do.
Yep.
The doors are always closed. You know, there's no
Mate, you
time.
have my phone number. Just ring me and I'll open the doors because a lot of times I won't tell you this, won't tell anybody else this, but I'm sometimes hiding out in there.
Oh, yeah.
Mate.
Okay. Well, mate, the last time I was kicking the door down and you didn't come out, so you weren't there.
I'm still working 60 hours a week. Well, I don't hear the door knock sometimes. Just ring me.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
We've
ring
got
him and
really,
then let the phone ring.
we got really no,
No, not the landline.
He's got my
mobile.
my secret mobile.
Everyone knows Paul. You don't ring the landline. You ring the mobile.
Ring my booking agent.
Yeah.
So I'm handing out your number now, mate, and then
Yeah.
you can, if there's anything worthwhile, you can pass it through.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
Paul, you still look and you go, I don't know him.
Yeah.
So the phone rings for another hour.
I should just pick up the phone and go, Ross Spinella, booking agency. We might get you some work.
No. I'm retired, mate. I don't work.
Well, I'm semi-retired, mate. I'm down to about 60 hours a week.
in one day.
That's from 120.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it was a lot.
I don't think you'll ever retire, Paul.
Retirement, what's that?
Exactly.
No, Paul never retire.
No, he won't. There's no way.
You know, it was an interesting thing. We're having a chat with a few guys now that are sort of talking about retirement. And you go, who would we be if we turned up in Darwin or something and we didn't have a guitar or an amplifier or a radio or a computer? It's like, who would we be?
You wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't
So-
know yourself.
I'm frightened. There's no way I'm going to join a bowls club. Can't play golf. The only thing I can do is guitar and amplifiers and things. So I think I'll be doing
That's
that.
true.
Like Leo
When you-
Fender, I think.
When you say it like that, it's so
Who are
true.
you going to be?
Yeah.
This is what we
Yeah.
keep saying. You know, you spend all your life becoming this person who's maybe good at something,
Yeah.
and it's the best thing I'm good at. You know, I'm
Yeah.
useless at everything else.
And you know something, Paul. We're grateful for you to be around, right?
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
thanks, Ross. Same here, mate. The
We're
day you
grateful
stop playing
for your,
guitar,
for your genius and your ability to be able to do all the things you do for us.
oh, thank you, buddy.
Because every time we're in trouble and we need something, mate, we always go to Paul.
Well, the day you stop playing guitar, mate, will be a very sad day, along with quite a lot of other people I know. But you one of the best.
But
Thank
he's
you.
right. Ross is right, though. How many times, if it wasn't for Paul, Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I've got no intention of retiring yet, buddy.
No,
so as
not
long as-
yet.
Just a bit of sad news that not a lot of people might know. I was speaking to Roger McLaughlin today, and Peter McCutcheon passed away about a month ago. Peter
didn't
McCutcheon
even
was
know
the
that.
Yeah.
keyboard
Yeah.
player on
Yeah.
Daryl Summers. He was one of those ones they used to set up the challenge and say, come up with a tune that Peter couldn't play. He was a marvelous human being, and it's really sad that
Wow.
yeah, I just didn't know that. So I just for other people that
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, there's a lot of good friends, a lot of good musicians have passed away last
Yeah,
few years.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know whether you remember Alex Hill.
He was.
Alex Hill was a great guitar player, bassist, and arranger and everything.
Yeah,
He passed away just a couple of years ago too.
yeah.
Um,
I don't mind when I die as long as it's a surprise.
Yeah,
don't
we're
wanna-
talking about
I don't
that.
want to know
Mike,
about it.
I was just talking to God before, and I said, well, when I die, I don't want to know about it. Just
No, I
please, let
just
me-
want to go
you
to
know?
sleep one night and wake up dead. You know,
That's it.
Yeah, wake up dead.
I don't want anybody to point the bone at me and go, mate, you only got 3 months to go. And, oh no, what am I going to do for 3 months? Worry about it.
Yeah,
Worry about
so
the
true.
end.
So true.
So you still doing some gigs, Ross?
Yes, yeah. I'm still doing a few little jobs here and there.
Yeah.
You
Excellent.
know, you know what I do. I get sent. Robert Severini rings me up. I don't know whether you know Robert Severini. He's a bassist, arranger, singer, entertainer.
Yeah.
You know, he does
No,
a bit of
obviously,
everything, and he's been around. You know, as long as we have. And sometimes he rings up, and we do those
Roving gigs.
roving gigs. We
The
we dress up
muchachos.
as Mexicans
Muchachos.
and shopping centers, or you know, sometimes private little houses and stuff like that, where they're doing a special special thing. And we do a couple of hours, and we do a bit of Spanish, a bit of Italian, a bit of swing, a bit of jazz. Sometimes he gives me a 5-string banjo. We tune it as a guitar. It looked good.
Yeah.
And a bit of those Roaring 20s music, you know, from
gonna
Louis
play
Armstrong.
I'm going to play in the nursing homes, mate. They can't run, you know. So as soon as we finish, we can hightail out of it before they can catch us.
Hey, a gig's a gig, man.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll like a bit of Black Sabbath and Metallica and stuff like that. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
We're playing some good stuff here, and they don't like it.
So, all right. Thanks for calling, Ross.
Okay, guys. Okay, fantastic what you're doing. It's fantastic. And
Give me a ring next time you want to come
inspiring.
over and have a cappuccino or something with me, buddy. It's
Yeah, and don't ring the landline. Ring his mobile.
yeah.
No.
Three rings on the landline, 2 taps
Yeah.
on the door, and then ring my mobile once.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's only this week.
And then go to the car and bip the horn 5 times.
He hides the car.
We'll try that next time.
Yeah. Lovely to talk to you, Ross.
Thank you, Paul.
See you, Ross.
Good luck, guys.
See
Take care,
ya.
buddy.
Thanks for
Okay,
calling.
bye. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
Ah, so Claude, there you go. He called us.
Just an opportunity to ring me up and tell me you can't get through.
Also, Will, we've got Michael Borg says, "Good evening, gentlemen, and you too, Will Musig."
Michael Borg's in
How are you, Michael?
Canberra at the
Legend.
moment.
Where is he?
He's in Canberra. He's freezing
Oh, yeah, he drove to Canberra.
because they're -4 degrees
That's
or
right.
something
Yep,
tonight.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
why would you go to Canberra at this time of the year?
For work. He's got to do work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, he lost the bet.
Oh, okay.
I think he drove from Sydney.
Yeah, I think he drove.
Yep,
Yeah. So, no, I spoke to Michael earlier today, and he was telling me I'm going to Canberra. It's like,
Yeah, I know.
It's a good time
Enjoy
for the
your time.
Melbourne to Canberra run. You know, the buck raising thing. You know, for
Oh, Yeah,
cancer awareness or something.
exactly.
Yeah, we're going to do it in the winter.
Yeah, it's really cold over there.
Well, guys, we're going to do a commercial, and when we come back, we'll continue with some more chitter chatter.
And it's our favourite commercial, one of our favourite.
Oh, this is a cool commercial.
Oh, Escape Music is having a sale. Not some freaking 50% off a plectrum kind of sale. We're talking a big mid-year sale on select instruments, guitars, there's amps, bada-boom, there's drums, bada-bing, there's keyboards, PA and boutique effects pedals. Hundreds of items up to 60% off recommended retail price. There's Gibson, Yamaha, Fender, Maitland, Epiphone, Martin, Taylor, Wagner, Magnatone, and more. Hey, how much of this merchandise do you think we got? Most items are one only, so be quicker than a New York rat up a drain pipe. Hey, click on the banner.
You're not even Italian.
We just saw Fabio La Rocca, who made a comment about would love to have a chance to listen to you guys playing your guitars and he's having a beer and being anywhere in Australia. Now, Fabio's my first cousin who lives in Sicily.
Poor thing.
Of
Sorry.
all places.
Sorry that you're his first cousin.
And I was just telling Joe that Fabio is a tattoo artist, and he did the tattoo on
Nice tat.
my
Any excuse to
Cheers.
show your nipples on Facebook.
I'm trying to avoid my nipple.
So it runs in the family. He's a tattoo artist, and you're a
Bullshit.
artist.
I like to mention countries.
Don't
Will.
Beautiful.
It's your turn now to show them your nipple rings.
No,
Oh, crikey, you guys.
I got key rings on them. Yeah, but we were talking about your name. It's Austrian and that, isn't it?
Something like that.
Music.
Yeah, music, MUSIG.
So and he
Yeah.
calls himself Italian. You're not even Italian.
But in Europe, they don't actually say music. I
Music.
call it music. They call it music
Music.
because of the G's. A G.
Yeah,
What are you
okay.
laughing at? Bloody drummer.
I know what he was.
If I wanted a comment from you, I would have asked.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Because he would have thought of something, but he better
no,
not say.
I'm just waiting for
No,
his one-liner to
just
come
that
out of
it's
him.
like usage, like when it sounds. It's
Music.
like reservoir and reservoir.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
still same.
well-
It's still same place, isn't it?
Usage.
Well, you know.
The emphasis has to be on the right syllable.
Now, your background, you've got.
Guitars.
You got to tell us about your grandfather.
My grandfather.
About the
That was his father.
No,
your
it was his father.
That was your father.
Yes, mom and dad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just before the show here, I was saying I don't know what brought that on again.
I don't know what brought it on, but it's
You were talking
an
about
amazing
something being-
story.
Oh, it's
Talking about the explosions that hurt their eyes, so they'll
no,
turn around.
I know, but I wondered what made us think of that. My father was a naval.
I think you just wanted to tell us.
He was in the Navy. No, it had something to do with the fact of this won't hurt a bit, I think. And he's out there on an aircraft carrier, and they're at the Muro Atoll when one of the first atom bombs was exploded. And they said, "Look, all you guys got to get out on the deck, and we want you to face in the other direction, and then we'll tell you when it's safe to turn around and look at the mushroom cloud." I said, "It's all okay." And my father's in all the naval ratings were all in their shorts and short sleeves and everything, all facing the other way. And out come the British scientists, and they've all got lead suits on. It's like, hang on a minute, what's going on here? It's like, you got the lead suits and we haven't.
Did he have any fallout with that?
No, I don't think so.
No? It was a fair distance away.
I think if they were all smart, they would have got back downstairs and headed off in the opposite direction real quick. Because I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, that's an amazing story, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's you're mixed. You're
Yeah, mum's Italian and dad's
You're a bitzer.
yeah. I was born in Malta. I had a sister born in Italy and another one born in England. And my father got on really well with my mother's folks. And so they'd emigrated from Italy to Australia, and that's why we came here.
Wow.
So
What year was that?
I don't know, before the Blitz, I think, or early 60s.
Yep.
Yeah, a long time ago. So I finished my schooling here, but I didn't start it.
you started in England, didn't you?
No, I went to Richmond Tech for a while, and I was one of the little blokes and had all the 21-year-old Italians in first form who come over here. I think we used to joke that
Did they have salamis back in those days?
yeah, we used to get beaten up with them. And I used to say dance and plants because I went to grammar school in England, and I soon learned to say dance and plants and castle.
There you
and
go, mate.
stuff to stop me getting.
Yeah,
the
but
shit
didn't you
beaten out
do
of me.
their homework so they can help you?
No, I used to teach English. Funny enough,
Yeah, that's
at
right.
lunchtime. So I've always sort of taught something or other.
So they wouldn't
But-
beat you up. You said, "Hang on, I'll do
So-
your homework."
Did you teach them English and they taught you how to use the flick knife?
No.
Something like that.
No, I wasn't teaching English in that respect on them. They could all speak English. I was teaching English from that, past participles and bloody transitive verbs and shit like this, which I don't know where I came up
Well,
with that
Paul,
stuff.
do you still teach English?
No.
Oh, I was going to sign up Will. That's all.
Well, that's not quite that's not quite true, because a friend of mine over at Cole Clark, young Ko, he's from Japan. He's a lovely young fellow, very smart, and he's over here on a visa, and he's poor fella has to go into the city every day as part of his visa is he has to go to English lessons every day. So,
And you're helping him out.
we do the vuz and buzz, and the v's and b's don't exist in some vocabularies. And
Now, speaking of teaching, I hear on the group. I hear on the group.
Barry.
Wasn't me.
Now, that you're doing some amazing things with regards to first we'll go to something that's going to be a brush by, because it's something that's the Cole Clark.
It's just like Halley's Comet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go Halley's Comet
It's
over
gone.
this thing.
Asteroidally speaking.
Tell us what you're doing with Cole Clark.
I'll tell you a little bit.
I know that you're sworn to secrecy.
I'm bound by confidentiality
Yes.
agreement, of course, but I've been in there doing quite a bit. I don't think Miles would mind if I said that I've been in there. I'm in the R&D department there, and I've sort of tried to bring a different slant on things because I've sort of been exposed to a lot of different, because we've done warranty repairs for a lot of other people.
Yep.
We've been exposed to a lot of different things, whereas sometimes in a company you can just be interested in one product, and when you get a problem, you sometimes only try and you're looking through the same pair of eyes instead of bringing in some outside sort of things. So I've been in there changing bracing. I've been in there working on the preamp. I got brought in from the digital preamp originally, but it's an ongoing process. I sometimes go upstairs and I've, funny enough, people are doing multi-track recording. One of the things I can tell you is I sometimes will take a top and I'll change the bracing on it, and I've got a little piezo sensor on it, and I record that as track 1. And then I give myself another little announcement saying, hey, this is this such and such a model, and now I'm taking these pieces of brace out, and let's do the tap test again. And I go tap, tap, tap. This is the lower bass side. Tap, 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 tap. Which is really funny to listen to.
Just trying to get the best sound, aren't you?
Well, sooner or later you go past the point, and at least you can compare them and say, oh, I think I should have stopped at about track 6, and you can replicate that if you've documented it properly. So my job sometimes is documenting stuff we've already done that hasn't been documented, and we're trying out different things. They've got probably arguably one of the best pickup systems in the world, and at the moment we're working on future-proofing it to make sure nobody gets the drop on us.
Yep.
So that's about all I can tell you, because we have a lot of tours in there sometimes, and when they come up to my room, we have to hide stuff, but that's not because we don't want people getting upset, but we don't want them to see necessarily what we've got up our sleeve. Taylor's got a new V bracing, and it's, we could put a spin on our bracing because it's changed quite significantly since I've been there, and we could put a spin on that and it would sound a lot more exciting than the V bracing from Taylor. But I don't know, I haven't heard one of the guitars yet, and I'm sure it does a great job because Taylor make beautiful guitars. But there's Cole Clark USA now, which has started up, and most of the time they've turned around and said, look, your guitars sound great plugged in, but maybe they're a little quiet acoustically. And this year when they were over at NAMM, they weren't talking about the fact of our guitars being quiet anymore, so they're obviously getting stronger. And
so the changes are happening.
Yeah, well, that's why he's there, so to work with them.
It's a little evolution. It's not just down to me. There's a lot of good people at Cole Clark that are very, very clever people, including young Co. He's in quality control, and he's it's really funny because we were doing a little retro installation to retro analogs into digital, and I said to Co, me guru here, you apprentice. And I said, when you go to Japan, you have to be guru. Because somebody coming from the factory, they're going to expect to be, but he's a clever young fellow, and he's really good. He does, just as an aside, he does this breakdancing stuff. And differently, everybody else shows you their videos. He sent me a couple of his video links. They show you their videos of all the good stuff they do. So he shows a great thing with him breakdancing, but then right at the end of it, he might fall over and break his arm or something. That's in the video too. So he's at least being truthful. Hey, sometimes it really hurts. But so I'm 3 days a week at Cole Clark, and Miles and me just have a chat every now and again, and he gives me a project, and I got to work on that. But
And you're also teaching at your place too, aren't you?
Yeah. We've been teaching at Soundworks now since 2004, probably, when we sort of decided we changed the layout of the place and we put a big room in there with a stage and big PA and lights and everything. And we thought it's a good place to have some workshops. Of course, I can leave my band gear set up as well, which is just happens to be an accidental anyway.
Benefit.
From the early days, Frank Borsich, who's a good buddy of mine, and me have been taking classes over there, and for about 10 years we were teaching practical harmony, and it was just a night we'd get together. It was like a bit of a forum, and we'd get 20, 30 people, who knows, and we would just all take a subject and study practical harmony, which is without using a music stave. Basically, it's taking a guitar and learning how it works and how the fretboard works. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, most people retired at my place, and I thought, well, we could do something else here. So we've just finished a refit. So if anybody thinks I'm retiring, I've just spent the last 3 or 4 years.
I heard that
refitting our
rumor.
place.
I actually heard that rumor.
Yeah. So we're definitely there. But last year we started doing a setup and maintenance course, and we've probably had about 35 people through there at the moment. And then that spilled over into guitar electronics, and we've just finished 4 weeks of basic electronics now, leading into amp building. So in the next 4 weeks now, we had the introduction last Monday night, and the next 4 weeks we're building this train wreck clone. So we've got 8 amplifier kits from our good friend Nick at Seriatone, and it's just a great amp that they can gig with. It's a little 30 watter. It's a nice simple circuit to teach from.
But didn't you have to draw the schematics?
Yeah. There's no schematics on the net, so we had to start off by drawing.
You started off.
Yeah, so we've
Mate, he goes, Joe, have a look at this. I drew these, and when did you draw it? Oh, just the other night. The hell? Looks like a map.
Yeah.
Like a Malways. You know.
I got my inspiration from an overlay.
But then you got to print it, didn't you?
Overlay of the buildings in Melbourne.
That's right.
That's right. But so
crazy.
Frankie, this next Monday, he starts with. He was doing a couple of modal courses before where he was teaching people about playing in modes, and a lot of people would come to me saying, look, we would have come to Frankie's course, but we thought it was too hard.
He's a good player, man.
He will adjust to whatever level of student we've got. And so what we thought we'd do is change the title of it. So we've called it Building Confidence on the Fretboard. So he's, and we adjust for people there. And so starting next Monday night, Frankie's doing his, so if anybody wants to be interested in this, advert for us, of course, is our guitar club secretary is Kevin P. Moon. That's like Philip. I don't know what his middle name is. It might be Peter, but it's Kevin P. Moon, MOON, at gmail.com. And you can send him an email saying you want to be in the guitar club, and you'll get the emails to tell you when things are on.
Because that's how it started, didn't it?
Yeah,
it actually started with the guitar club.
Yeah. It's still the guitar club. I mean, we've got 520 members, so a lot of them wait. That they look in on the emails, and if it's something that interests them, sometimes we can get 20 or 30 people to a thing. Sometimes we get 7 or 8. But if there's something there, sometimes it's a timing thing too. People have got young families.
So don't ring.
No. Question of timing.
Don't ring.
Well, email. Kevin's our guitar club secretary, and he's kind enough to do all the donkey work with that.
Yep.
And he's already set up the course schedule for this year, but we've got plenty of spaces in there for other classes. And if we get enough, we've only got to get 6 or 8 people in who want to do one thing or another. Frankie's great. He plays jazz and rock and great singer. He's a good guy. And we've got other guys on call too. We've got a young fellow, Emilio, who's a fabulous guitar player, does all the Guthrie Govan stuff.
He's an amazing player.
And Marcus Kerben, who's a good friend of mine, is going to come and do some introducing lead guitar things. I hope he's.
Marcus is amazing.
Yeah. We've spoken about it, and
you did?
Yeah.
Did you teach him?
I started him off.
Is that why he went to another teacher?
That's why he went to another teacher. I started him off, taught him all the bad stuff.
And then he goes,
and there we go. Then
I can't play this.
I got him to a point, and I said, mate, you need someone else.
Yeah, but he came to me and said he didn't want to learn ukulele anymore. He wanted to take up the guitar.
You'll teach him 3 chords.
No, serious. I taught him back in the days of what was the name of the school? National Music School in Reservoir.
He said you taught
In
him
region.
everything you knew, and then he didn't even finish the first guitar lesson.
That's right. And then I gave him Simon Patterson's number, I think, and then he went to Simon, and then
There's another good player.
yeah, so and then he sort of
Hey,
Then
hello
he-
to Brett
then he-
Wood if he's out there. We were talking about him before. I'm not
Brett
sure whether
Wood,
it's
yeah.
during the ad.
I haven't seen him for ages.
Hello, Brett. Molly Duca. He lefty, but he's a great blues player and a good all-round guy.
Wasn't he playing with Pete Murray?
Yeah.
Still playing with him?
Actually, there's a great little video clip. I should bring it in for if I ever come back again. If you invite me back, I've got a great clip. and
Do
there
you?
was-
Another question is, do you want to come back?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's,
Cool.
there's Brett and me and Eugene Zwab, he's a great guy, Eugene. And we were discussing the first chord of A Hard Day's Night. So anyway, we worked on it for a couple of minutes, and I had one chord to play, and Brett gave us all our pieces. And then he holds the phone so we could do this selfie, and we played this one chord out of Hard Day's Night, and we were all doing a different part of it. And it sounded perfect. And then we all broke up laughing because it was so funny. So we're all leaning in towards so we all get in the picture. And we play the first chord. But if I find I've got the little video on my phone of it, if we can get it into the,
So what is the first chord for the Hard Day's Night?
basically I think it's a G sus4, but one,
It's the
I
voicing
think
of it.
one of them was playing a D on a bass note or something. It's two chords at
Yeah.
once, I think.
Isn't it just
But there's a
Just-
12 string.
you just ring?
You can get pretty close to it by playing it.
It is. You just ring it.
No, it's not that.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
But it was really
crikey.
funny. We had a good time doing it. And then he came along one night and he needed something really done urgently. And I said, well, mate, has to be the cheese and the olives and whatever. So he fronts up and he's entertaining us and brought us food while we're fixing his guitar for him for the next night or something. But that was funny.
That's a cracker.
Paul, Peter Gregory says, Paul sprayed my 59 Gibson LP Junior back in 1990.
My God. When I was about 13.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was actually doing electronics when I was in the cradle.
Yeah.
I think I was still, Mum and Dad used to take my dummy out of my hands.
Mum and dad.
Yeah, you mean Mum and Dad.
Mum and dad.
They were bloods. I was your Mum and Dad.
Now, being repairers, and there's three of us here now, right?
Yeah.
I want one story of that repair that came in where you just sat there and went, what the?
I do that every time.
I
Oh, look at this. and
No,
go,
but you know,
Jesus, these guys expect me to fix this.
that story of it's like, we'll call it the BS story, where there's the element of BS where the customers come in with it, and you know that
I'll tell you-
they've taken it to the extreme
Hey.
and wrecked it.
I'll tell you a little story about this, and I hope the guy who came in is not listening.
No names.
No names.
Yeah.
When we were
okay.
at Soundworks in Bond Street, one of the first places in the early '80s, Stuart Mail was our main guitar tech there, and I think I was doing both electronics and guitar electronics and whatever. And Stuart says, "I've got this fellow that he's coming in, and he wants me to blow the ring modulation out of his pickups because it's causing him a bit of bother." And we went, "Oh, blow the ring modulation out with a compressor or something?" So anyway, Hainsey, a good friend of mine, Steve Haynes, he was always a prankster. So we on the wall next to Stuart's bench, we drew this picture of this little box with a meter on it and drilled a hole in it as if it was something to plug into. And he got this little thing, let's call it a Loco Boy, and it was a little amplifier that plugged into the guitar socket that you could play through, and a little brown thing. So if you hooked it up to a lead and held it over the pickups, it would feed back. So this is gospel. Anyway, the guy comes in, Hainsey comes over, and we've got this pen that he's put two leads in with a magnet on it. And if you hold it near a pickup, it goes from green to red. That's all.
That's just
So with a little reed switch.
Yeah.
Right. So he puts this over the pickup. The guy comes in. And so the first thing is Hainsey runs over to Stuart Mell's bench, and he's got this little thing, and he's going, "Oh, mate, that's really bad." He says, the guy says, "Oh, really?" He said, yeah, mate, they should go green, and yours are going red. Because that's the problem. So by this time I'm breaking up. I'm turning the other way. So Stuart gets this lead and he plugs it into the wall.
There's nothing in there.
So then what he does is he winds the pickups up and he gets his compressor out and he blows it out like that. And first of all, that's right, they brought it over to my bench, and he's got the loco boy over the top of it, and it's going woo, 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 all over the place, feeding back. Anyway, I could just hold it together long enough to wind his pickups up and down a couple of times and put him back to where they were. He goes back over there again. We put the loco boy and keep it really still this time, so it just goes woo, and then Hainsey comes back over there with the pen, and it stays green. And this guy's in there with his sunglasses on, for things. And like we're all breaking up because our place was just partitioned off. There was no, Hainsey used to look over the wall when you're trying to be serious talking to somebody, and he'd be pulling faces at you from behind. And anyway, in the end, this guy's talking about the fact that he wanted a brassier sound out of his strings. So I think Stuart went and got a set of, they used to have phosphor bronze or brass, 80-20 brass or something to get Arios. He said, we'll put a set of these on. This will give you a brassy sound. By this time, we were all breaking up. But the fact that this guy could actually watch him plug it into a hole in the wall with a texture-color drawing of something with a meter on it.
And he didn't even know you're taking a piss.
No. But yeah. So I hope
Is that a phone call coming in?
Yeah.
And run out.
I hope the guys left the state. I mean, it was a long time ago, so maybe he's
what
forgotten.
a crack up. Joe, you got one?
I don't know. There's everything. Capacitors is my biggest. And
Ooh.
Paul, yeah. We need another segment just to talk about that. How people on the net just make a big deal out of capacitors, and how you got to have this one antique Bumblebee, the chrome one, or the oil.
I'm giving in, mate. I'm gonna polish up the capacitors, and I'm gonna hand paint them so they look like little bumblebees, even with a little pair of wings on them.
Put a bow tie on it, and say this is a special one.
Put some of
$100.
Put some of that furry stuff on, the felt.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm selling my own bumblebees. Yeah. Maybe do some ladybirds or something and paint them red and black.
Yeah. But didn't you build a box?
Yes.
That tell them about the box. This is fascinating. It's unbelievable. Paul built a box, and it's got like a rotary switch.
Yeah, you can put any capacitors into
any
it. Any
capacitors in.
Do a quick
so you put your guitar in it, and you might say, "I want to try 0.22."
Yeah, or a 0.01 or
0.01, and you just click it, and it just changes to see how your tone works.
What the tone is.
Plug the output of the guitar into it, and
brilliant.
Yeah. Anybody who wants a circuit for that, I'm about to do one for the guys over at NCAT, the Northern College of Arts and Technology. So
I'm into that.
I'll print it out.
I'm into that.
Instead of putting
what
it
you
on,
can do
I'll
is in an ES 345 355 stereo, they've got a thing they call a veritone.
Yep.
And what it basically is a bunch of capacitors. I think there's 4 or 5 capacitors and a straight through, and they're connected with a big, huge inductor that's in the stereo model. I think there's 2 of them. So what they do is they virtually control the mid-range cut by virtually sending it down the drain, and each capacitor resonates with the inductor at a certain frequency. And so one of the mid-range frequencies goes down the toilet, if you like, or goes down the drain. So basically the idea was to take the mid-range boost, virtually that's in a humbucker guitar, out so it would sound a bit more stratty, if you like.
Yep.
And you can simulate it quite easy with a little 5-way rotary switch. And I've done exactly that. I've built something with there are 5 little RCA plugs on the top, and I make up these little things you can just plug into them. So you want to try different things, and then there's another one for the inductor. So you can basically make your own veritone by selecting different components in there, and you can you can sort of do it on top of the unit. And then when you've got it, it works 2 ways. It works in series mode where you can see the difference capacitors when they're in line, or if you put them across the load and shunt them, where you shunt the signal down a drain. So you can choose your own capacity. You plug a guitar into it, and you can work out, you can actually jimmy up a little tone control on there, because where the inductor is, you can put a variable resistor. You can plug in a different thing. Oh, that's the tone control I want. And on a Strat, particularly where you can't get the plate off, so it's not so easy to change. You plug the Strat into that, work out which you want, and where you go.
It works with different pickups too, like EMGs and what you want to use. And
Yeah. And another little box I built with a 25K pot in it, and a 250K pot, and a 500K pot, so you can see the effects. Everybody says, "Oh, you're losing too much high frequencies or whatever," and it's like, hey, plug it into here and try it out. But if anybody wants any of those circuits, we'll happily make them available.
Yeah. Now, for some people that were listening to that and you were sitting there going, "What the?" I'll just do a translation.
We're just making it up.
No, I'll just do a translation. Come ti dice una roba che non tu sai che io dico, dopo che tu dici che tu detto. I just spoke in the dialect where my parents come from
Oh,
because
yeah.
some people would have sat there and gone, "What the?"
Yeah, but you know
hell?"
what? But you know what? They use it all the time.
That's
They
right.
use the tone, and they wonder why it
Yeah.
cuts out straight away.
That's the
mids.
technical talk of what happened.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I must admit, you lost me with that stuff. Especially when I heard you listen to Guitar Talk, I just got lost.
You just got lost.
I was just reading that off a piece of paper here that Joe wrote out before, and he said he knows nothing about electronics.
Yeah, that's right. I don't.
Uh,
I just know how it works. I don't know the names.
actually, I've got a couple of funny stories. I was down at Davis Music many years ago, and it was when Alex was down there.
Yep, that was
a long time ago, right? Now there was this old woman who came in, and she had this little violin, and the bridge came off it.
Oh, okay. Came the
It
other
just
way. Yep.
dropped off. And she brought it in, and she was such a softly spoken woman. She said, "Hello, excuse me. My granddaughter's dropped the violin, and it's broken off, and I don't know what to do." And
Alex, been Alex.
so Alex goes, "One moment, madam. Not a problem. I'll fix that for you." And he walks down the back, and they just received a big shipment of stock. So in the back room, you remember the back room?
Yeah.
In
With
their
the
kitchen,
window.
where the window was, he had to get from so imagine it's a doorway, and then there's a bench there and like a table to sit down to have your lunch. And then it was full of boxes to get to the repair area. And to get through, he's got the violin and he's walked through it. And whilst he's walking, he's actually grabbed the bridge and gone click.
And
So he's put it on. So for him to walk in there, it was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? And he's walked through and he starts kicking boxes. And from where
That's
we
Alex.
were, all you heard was and then and then he walks back out. He walks back out and he goes, there you go, madam.
It's done. Speaking about that back room, once when Alex was there, I was in the back. Do you remember the scene with the Titanic?
Yes.
And they're in the car with the glass. So I got the kettle and I fucked it up. I've stuck my hand on a window and I've just gone, Alex couldn't talk to this person. He's just lost it. And it wasn't just a hand last time either what I did. So that back window got closed after because everything was going through the back window. Yeah, it was a classic. The good old Davis days, huh?
They were the days. That's an institution that's no longer.
No.
Yeah. We're going to go to a commercial, and I'll leave it in Pino's capable fingers to press buttons.
Il Cantuccio restaurant has been the home for the best drummers in the world, to the likes of Dave Weckl, Dom Famularo, Steve Smith, Dennis Chambers, John Blackwell, and many more to mention. Il Cantuccio has been dining drummers for over 2 decades, with their home style of cooking, especially their homemade gnocchi. So why not join the list of great drummers and musicians that enjoy to dine at Il Cantuccio? With cozy bluestone and neo-rustic decor, Il Cantuccio is the best place to have the finest Italian food, and you never know what famous drummer you can meet. Call Mario for bookings on 9347 9959. Il Cantuccio, 209 Lygon Street, Carlton.
Actually, talking about
Feedback.
Feedback, yeah.
Talking about YouTube and repairers. That's all I can say. I had a guy who came in, right, and you're going to remember this story.
Yeah.
I had a guy who came in and he brought in an Ibanez guitar with a Floyd Rose on it. Now you know how the saddles need to sit flat with the strings, right?
Especially on an Ibanez.
But this had the plate was sort of like, so the saddle's flat, but the plate was on an angle. You know those Floyd Rose?
The edge.
The edge, yeah. So this guy comes along and he says, "Can you set it up?" So I set it up. I set it up to spec, right? Takes it home. He comes back, mate, it's not right. I go, what do you mean? He goes, this has to be straight. It's not straight. I go, mate, it ain't going to work. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm telling you. I looked on the YouTube.
But he was actually looking at the angle of the Floyd.
So anyway, I set it up for him again, and off he went. And then he came back about a week later. No, it's not right. I want you to exactly the way I did it, right? Because he obviously looked at the YouTube link again, and he came in, and I said to him, dude, just certain things that you don't tell repairers what to do. Let us do our job.
Yeah, but you get a lot of that, Will.
It's funny.
People come in all the time and they say, I need this fixed. So you tell them and then they go, no, you got to do it like this, like that. Just hand the guitar back and say, you do
YouTube's not a good reference. Like when I get a repair in, the first thing I do is go and look at YouTube to see how to do it.
Yeah, and make sure you don't do it like that.
There's usually some kid in Scotland somewhere, whose first time he's pulled a guitar apart, and I think, what a great way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
in Scotland, huh? Oh, right.
Ock the new.
So now your daily routine now, you're still down at Soundworks.
Mate, the great thing is I say to people when we're teaching guitar setup and maintenance, I say, see all these guitars around here for repair and these amplifiers and things like that. So this is a working workshop. This is not something I used to do 25 years ago. So yeah, we're still, but I'm mainly looking after a lot of the people that have been.
You're not getting any new ones.
I've been looking after most of my life, and all the old Helmets guys and all that, they're his customers, whatever. I still look after them and their kids sometimes, which makes me seem like the grand old daddy of
the grand poobah.
Grand old poobah, and but I still do that, and it gives us a bit of realism, I think, for our lessons. It's like we're bringing in guitars to show them, and it's like, hey, this has just come in today. This is exactly what I was talking about, and so that's good. But I think we got to pass the buck across to the young people. If we were talking before, and we went on about not looking at things as competition. I think there's one thing I hope that everybody who's ever come into contact with me in the past, whether they're a guitar player or my attitude always is share the knowledge. And we're a big network. I've never been competitive. In fact, I got into guitar repairs because I wasn't competitive. And I thought, well, all my mates doing other things, and I'm never going to be any good at any of those. I was just a little geeky nerd bloody kid when I was at school. And I thought, I don't want to be competitive with anybody. And,
just do the best we can do, yeah?
Yeah. And I think if there's anybody out there that thinks I haven't shared knowledge, I apologize because.
But what about some of the characters that we used to get in there?
There's some strange ones. You can usually tell by the haircut if they've got the dreaded fringe.
No hair, sunnies on their head at night.
That's what I always thought a fringe festival was. It brings together all the people that have got this weird fringe. And
no hair, sunny on their head.
I can't grow a fringe anymore.
I don't want to get sunburnt.
So I'm just jealous. Yeah. But no, I think if we all got together and it sounds like one of those things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All get together.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
Well, it starts off like that.
It does.
I've had many a great player in my workshop who I'm making some adjustments for, and if there's a song I want to learn and they know it, I'll happily take that from anywhere.
Didn't Brett Gussett used to come in a lot, and there was a guitar hanging on the wall one day? You'd tell him the action was this high.
Oh, Brett could play it anyway. No, Brett used to come into our place for us to do his repairs. And apologies, Brett. I don't want to name drop anybody, but he's been coming in. He must have been in his early 20s, maybe even younger, when he used to come down from the country with his cousins and friends and whatever. But they would all go off and have a counter pub dinner or whatever, and he would say, "Have you got a guitar I can sit and play?" And I think that first year, maybe early 80s, he got listed in Guitar, might have been Guitar World or Guitarist or one of those magazines as best young up and coming player.
Guitar, yeah.
And he's just absolutely world class, and it's about practice, obviously.
But how big was the action on?
It doesn't matter. He used to turn up at 9 o'clock early in the morning from Bendigo or wherever they used to come from, and it used to be Castlemaine, I think, and it used to be freezing cold up there. I wouldn't be able to play a guitar until my fingers warmed up, and he'd come in there while we were working on his amplifiers, and the fingers would still be
Yeah.
Be hammering on this.
Yeah.
Another magic fingered person. But hello, Brett, if
Yeah.
you're out there. But a absolutely beautiful player still. He's got a couple of lovely instrumentals too that I love to listen to.
Yeah.
He's
got
done a
great
lot of
album.
clinics for us too.
Great album.
Yeah. I think a lot of people in the early
Yeah.
days, in the early 80s, we used to run these little nighttime sort of clinics, and Brett did a lot for us. I mean, he might have done 8 or 10 of them probably, but well, absolutely world class. Yeah.
Yep.
So we've been really blessed. A lot of the great players used to come in our place. Phil Buckle, what a great songwriter, what a great player.
Awesome.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah. We actually bought Phil Buckle and me. We actually bought a. We were in Douglas. I think we went in the city to the movies, and we were in. There used to be a place called Douglas Trading, and had a sort of an inset little alleyway where they had sort of double windows, and you could walk past all the stuff. And one day we saw this Akai. I think it was like a 666. It was either that or it was $666, and we thought, oh, that's cheap. We decided to go halves, so we went back there on the Saturday morning and bought this thing, and then we went back to my place, and our bass player was a funny fella. He was he would laugh himself sick. He was terrible, and we were we couldn't think of anything else to do, and we wanted to work on this multi-track, so we're all going roll, roll, roll your boat gently down, and then somebody else would start up, and our bass player would nearly be wetting himself over in the corner, and we couldn't get serious, but we did learn how to do multi-tracking, and then I think he took the Akai off of me. He was always going to be a great producer and whatever. He was always interested in the way the guitar sounded. This is really funny. We wrote this song one night, and we got a piece of chipboard, and we said, call out some chords. We just wrote this random bunch of chords, and then we decided he'd laugh if he was listening to this now. We decided on a theme, and I think it was Going Away or Coming Home or something, because we could write a prequel or a sequel about that.
Yeah.
And so we made up these words, and then we decided we're going to sing it in the same sort of Voice as a Steely Dan thing. And we never had any equipment, so I remember, this is so funny, I remember doing the oohs and ahs in the background with a, we wanted to put a tremolo sort of thing on it, and I was singing these oohs and ahs down a vacuum cleaner tube while I was swinging it around my head to go. That was funny. Guys.
And you weren't even drunk, were you?
No, that's the saddest thing. But and then we'd be doing things like because we never had any percussion stuff.
Oh, shit.
So you were beatboxing back in those days.
We had this little 210 Music Man, and we had to point it at the floor and then put cushions and stuff over the top of it so the neighbours wouldn't hear us in my basement.
But geez, how many Soundworks changed?
I was threatening him. I
though?
said, if you ever get famous, and he obviously has got famous. But I said, if you ever get famous, I said, I'm going to release this track. I've got it on a
Have you still got
somewhere.
Yeah, it probably has.
I think we need to release it next time you're on.
If he's out there now, he'll be ringing in straight away going, don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
He'll start telling some stories about me. Not that there's anything to tell.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you've got Joe down with you as well.
Joe and I do a lot of work together. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sometimes comes
And
up,
how do you cope with that?
takes up there. Well, it's
I actually do work, don't I, Paul?
yeah. It's mutual adoration, buddy. Society, you know. I go and go, Joe looks fantastic, Joe, and then he comes in on me after a while and goes, hey, Paul, I just got to pat you on the back, and it's just
amazing.
self-flagellation, I think.
Self-flagellation.
Would chew the fat a little
And
bit.
he
Have
makes
a coffee.
he makes a good coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you got a coffee machine there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, he's half wog.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not just a kettle.
Yeah, that's right.
So with regards to
Joey used to come into my place in his pram. I think his mum used to push him in there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, he used to come in there and spit his dummy at me.
When I used to live on this side, remember that, Pino?
Sure do.
I used to go and visit
the
Paul
place
all
has
the
actually
time.
gotten really good now.
Yeah, I know, because I left.
Yeah.
I used to go and see Paul all the time, and I used to bring things. Look, I'm going to be a tech one day, and he goes, yeah, keep going. And I said, how could anyone live up here in Ringwood? There's no way. Now I live in Ringwood.
And you live in Ringwood too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
I'll still go and see Paul.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But our house rates, our house valuation went up. And
Went up
down.
as soon as I left. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be right.
And Ringwood and Chirnside all went downhill.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So you guys now, if somebody wants to contact you guys, I know that you're sort of you're sort of really
You'll
want
get Joe's
serving.
number easier than mine.
Yeah.
unless you've already got my mobile number, please.
Yeah.
I say to people jokingly, if you come up to the front door, there's a sign on the front door that says, if you've never been through here before, turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
you
or ring the landline.
It's not that I don't like people. It's just the fact that physically
can't do it.
I can't do it anymore, especially being over at Cole Clark for 3 days a week. And I
You just got too much on, haven't you?
I really enjoy that. I mean, I always said if I decided to retire, I would, a bit like somebody who's played in a covers band and they're going to do some originals when they finish, knowing they won't get paid. I always said that maybe because I sort of crossed the board from electronics to guitars, I thought when everybody else is retired and I can choose to do what I want, I might do some work on amplifying acoustic instruments. And then John Brownrigg, good buddy of mine, he was chairman of the board of directors over at Cole Clark, said, "Hey, come over here and we'll pay you for it."
Yeah.
So I expected to be doing it for nothing, but they're not listening because they'll reduce my
Just your pay.
Hey, geez, we could have got him for nothing.
It's too late.
So, Joe, what's your number?
0414 412 756.
Cool. Okay, say it again.
0414 412 756.
All right. So if you want work done, you can ring Joe.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you want to anything about the classes too, Kevin, Kevin, P for Peter, Paul, whatever, Moon, MOON, at gmail.com.
Beautiful.
Just asking to be put in the guitar club, and you get put on the list, and you see what's going on. But if you want to do that, I'm thinking that I'll spend a bit more time this year at least doing.
So you're going to start the start again, the maintenance for brand new people who want to come in.
There's already another course after July or something like that. Kevin will be able to tell you the schedule. He just says to me, "Hey, next Monday you're starting this course," and we do it.
Yeah, Kevin's a good bloke.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And for me, from my point of view,
you're a good bloke too, Will.
I know. Now, I feel one humbled that you've actually come in because you're really hard to get hold of. Every time I ring, no one answers.
Well, I lied to him. I told him there was we're going to a pizza shop.
Yeah, the answering machine used to be me, and I got RSI from picking the phone up. So.
No, but like for me, from my point of view, I mean, I'm a repairer. We're all repairers, and I don't, like we were saying before, I don't see, like I've had Joe Yamuni on as well, and I'm open to have any other repairers on as well. Everyone's welcome. For me, it's more so making everyone more aware of, one, that instruments can be fixed and repaired. That's the first thing, because so many people, I've got so many mums and dads that they'll say,
"Can't be fixed.
I didn't know you could fix it." It's like, it's a lot cheaper than buying a new one.
I still mess now and again with these radio controlled helicopters, and I was in a model shop in Box Hill one day, and a guy said to me, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Because I was asking questions about certain things. I said, "I fix electric guitars," and he goes, "How much goes wrong with those, do they?"
Yeah, that's right. No.
So I felt really stupid then, because I said to him, "Oh, sometimes I can spend 8 hours fixing a guitar and longer." So I thought maybe I'm too slow.
And the second thing that you've learned, Paul hasn't retired, but a lot of people think he has retired.
Well, that is the other important thing. That is the other thing as well, because I was saying he is Paul retired.
No.
Yeah, so
he's just jumped the hoop. He's gone to different aspects of.
I think it's a matter of physically realizing that I was trying to do retail at my place. We were trying to be the service guy, the sales guy, and whatever else. After
you can't do it.
Retired.
He's done everything. I mean, he had an acoustic room. He had. Do you remember at one stage everyone was there?
We've still got our acoustic room, and I've still got a good deal of the stock that I had, which is really good. We just restocked our acoustic room when I decided I wasn't probably going to do retail anymore. But I get a lot of friends of mine ringing me up saying, "Hey, have you got a Strat here, or a Tele, or a acoustic guitar?" And so I still sell some stuff here and there, but I don't want to be that Main Street sort of. No disrespect the Main Street music, but I don't want to be that
main shop.
We never wanted it. I was always happy when people came in. It was like, I'd buy that Strat, but the neck's too fat and the pickups are wrong, and we go, "Good, it's a great job." I didn't want to just sell a guitar. I think I felt like a bit of a sham as a salesman. I think I always wanted to be the tech that makes it like the person wants. And I think one thing that repairers could if there's one message I had to carry on, I think Soundworks has been very successful when you consider we've had 10,000. Hasn't been monetarily successful, but I've never really been the money chaser.
No repairer. If the way I
No.
see it is, if I see a repairer who's driving around in a Merc or a flashy car
Or a BMW.
or a BMW, no, but you know, like and flashing the cash and like the latest thing and you know the plane.
They're
and all
not
that
doing
stuff.
guitar repairs.
They're not doing guitar repairs, man. There's
Unless you
something
live
else.
with your mum. You know? But I think the one thing you could learn from this is that, hey, we got a band together. But B, I think the most important thing is here. A lot of the musicians have become my friends, and the first thing we do is sit them down, get them to play something to me, and I think I get a bit of an idea then how I could set the guitar
Exactly.
up. And I think
Yeah.
it needs to be a two-way street. You know, it's the player and the repairer. I mean, if it wasn't for the player, us repairers wouldn't have done
No,
what we've done.
Exactly.
We learned how to put Floyd Roses into guitars before you could buy them basically here in this
Yeah.
country, because people were coming in. Phil Buckle, I remember, came in to see me one day because he was always looking for the next technological advancement. And we'd put Floyds on guitars, but they stuck on the top and they would get under your hand position. So they're really hard. It's like a huge bonnet ornament on your guitar. And he said, look, I'm reading a story here about Steve Vai, and he's got this recess in the top or something. He said, yeah, we can do that. So
Making jigs and put them in.
we even made a guitar for him one time where no pickup stuck above the plate. We made him a solid plate, and the pickups were actually underneath, so that we could get the strings down closer to the plate.
Yeah.
One of his little things. But so we learned to do Floyd Roses because we got, if you like, good at what we did by demand from the musos. They would come in and say, look, all these guys have got flat fingerboards and high frets, and fair enough, let's give it a go. So I think it's a bit like ladies that get their hairdressers, you know, and the hairdressers do such a good job and they keep going back. And I think if we can acknowledge the musician's requirement on a guitar, and we can meet those standards that he wants, like a blues player is going to have a different setup than a legato player, who's going to have a different setup than a country player. And we need to be tools, not guys that, hey, you're going to play this guitar and this is the way I set it up. And
Yeah, but
whatever.
some repairers, Paul, they set it up to how they play, not to the customer.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
another thing that you got to look at.
Yeah.
You're not setting it up to how you're playing. You got to set it up to how the customer wants.
I think every repairer that I've met wants to do a good job. I don't meet any,
No, of course.
any
But that's what they got to do.
yeah. And
So-
I think it's
What I usually say to people is take it, play it. If
Yeah.
you want to change it, bring it back and I'll
Yeah.
tweak it again.
Yep.
You know, because like there was a guy that came in once and I did a setup and he said, mate, it's buzzing. And I go, sure, man, let me play it. So I played it and it wasn't buzzing. And I said to him, he goes, it's not buzzing. And I go, it's not buzzing for me.
magic
And I
fingers.
go, you play it.
Remember that one?
I go, you play it. And he played it. And I went, dude, sorry, but it's you. It's the way you're playing.
He wasn't pressing it. I
And-
don't know.
No, he was playing it at the back of the fret, not just behind it. So,
Oh,
like you've got your frets, and he was playing at the back end of the fret there. So it had that
Yeah, I
flat,
know what you're saying. Yeah.
you know, and I go, dude, sorry, but it's your, I don't want to tell you this, but it's your playing, you know. And then I showed him and I gave him like a guitar
I was
lesson.
going
I
to say,
said,
come in and I'll give you a guitar. lesson.
so I gave him a guitar and I said, this is it. And he goes, oh, I have to think about my whole playing. He goes, I've never had a lesson in my life. And I go, well,
I think it's the same thing
Yeah.
with guitar players, though. I think if you've got a lick that I want to learn, show it to me. And if I've got a lick that you want, I'll show it to you, and we'll get better like
Yeah.
that, I think.
exactly.
You remember that? That reminds me. The guy that came in. He was a nice guy, and he was playing, and it was really buzzing. And he's going, "I've been to every guitar tech, and no one's fixed it. You know, it's just always buzzing. No one can get it right." So as he's playing, I think he was playing a bar chord. It was an F.
I just moved his finger back about
Yeah.
a quarter of an inch.
Paul just moved it back, squeezed it, goes, "Play now." Yeah. Oh, it's fixed.
I think the guitar that he bought was a slightly shorter scale, and he wasn't a bad player, but he thought that it was everybody else's fault. I just said, mate, I just noticed you're putting your finger in probably the same place you would on your other guitar, and I just slid his finger back 1/4 inch, I reckon. He went,
Fixed.
It's me, isn't it?
You get a lot of those, but
Yeah, we got to be kind to people. I mean, there's young people coming on board and there's a lot of young people that could teach. I used to play the Beverly Hillbillies song, and there was a little banjo roll near the end that I really couldn't get, and so I used to play the rest of it and miss out on the banjo roll bit. And this 15-year-old kid comes in the shop one day and he starts playing this banjo roll, and I go, "Come over here, mate. I need that piece. I need that little banjo roll.
show me how to do it.
Give it to me, because then I can complete my song."
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
Now we can all learn from each other.
Yeah. So I think we'll call it a show. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right. So Monday night we have Pino with Drum Talk.
No, we don't.
No?
Oh no, it's school holidays.
School holidays. Actually, there's no.
You're not still going to school, are you, Pino?
No, he's a girl. Listen to this. He's a girl. He's taking the night off.
Also, the whole world
There's
stops
no
now.
There's no vocal arts
There's no on the
on the mic.
On the mic, and there's no
But
on the guitar show.
The workers.
Ah,
I've got Kev on next week. Now Kevin has a disability. He's got cerebral palsy. But if you hear him play guitar, he's a blues player, and his album is a freaking amazing, right?
what country is he from?
Fiji. No, he's not. No. So Kevin's going to be on, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And then the following week, seeing that I don't need to plug any other shows, the following week I have the legendary Jack Pantarzas in. Yeah. And get this, it's called Guitar Talk, right?
Yeah.
Guess who I managed to get on as well? Jerry Pantarzas on
Well, there's
drums.
a drum set right there.
So there's a drum
Beautiful.
set right here,
That's
and
gonna
I've
sound
got
good.
the Pantarzas brothers, and we're going to talk about them being brothers and all that sort of stuff. So promote it and let
Brilliant.
everybody
Yeah,
know
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And,
Great drummer.
Yeah, and Pino, when was the last time you had Jerry on?
Jerry, you trying to be a smart. Actually, we had Jerry late last year. Actually,
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Is that like Joey Amenta?
sorry,
Is that like Joey? Actually, you did get Joey Amenta on.
Joey was on about a month ago, mate.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Anything else you want to like know? Hey, Paul, do you want to come on a great show on a Monday night?
School holidays?
At least at my shows, I give chocolates and
Do I have to pay
Oh.
twice as much?
Sorry?
I think I had to pay $20 an hour tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're copping the bill.
Now another thing as well is something that we're really starting to, and there's a few people that have joined up, and it's great. Thank you guys. www.patreon, patreon.com/the Muso channel. It is your way of supporting us, whether you want to donate you pay by, it's a monthly subscription that you join with, and you can pay anywhere from $1 right through to how much, Pino? $1,000 if you want to.
But it's
Um,
better if you start at 1,000.
Well, you didn't tell me that I only had to pay $1 tonight. You said I had to pay $20 an
We
hour.
went backwards with you, 1,000 first.
Hey, yeah. If I'd known it was just a gold coin donation.
So and that'll help us immensely, even if you can donate $1. I mean, $1 it works out to be $12 a year.
And I've got two Bobby. If you
So,
really ask for cash.
so and look, those funds that will generate from that will help us with new equipment, so that we can basically get better cameras and better studio gear, so that we can then give you a better show.
And also sensor buttons. I don't have one of those sensor buttons.
Oh, yeah, for people like,
the bleep,
yeah,
the bleep.
yeah, for
Actually-
countries and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. I will. I'm going to finish off tonight with this, but I think it's Rory Hollingsworth goes, time for Will to learn how to run the show without Pino.
Yeah, Rory, what do you say? I'll get you to do some sound for
he
me
said without anybody.
Oh.
without anybody,
Just yourself.
just me. So
Well,
I have
that's
to
how
sit.
Pino
That means
started.
I have to sit over there with the thing.
Yeah.
With it. I could do that.
All right, we're done.
We could have the webcam.
Just
looking
give me
at
the
another
keys.
webcam.
Just give me the keys to your house for Wednesday
Got it from
night,
the car.
and I'll be here.
Will, thank you. Paul, thank you.
Thanks, Pino.
And Joe, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Been
Yeah.
great.
Pino,
show.
it's
Thanks
been
all
an
the guys
absolute-
for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Pino,
I
it's
know,
been
an
an
absolute pressure.
working against you. See you guys. Have a good one.
You will work one day together.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Will Musig.